Hey folks, Vic here with your weekly trade video for Friday, September the 26th, 2025. First of all, thank you so much for everybody who attended our webinar this past Wednesday, September the 24th. And for those who didn't make it to the webinar, this week's video is a replay of that webinar, so you can check it out for yourself. Here's the thing. Most traders fail because they chase hype and they overcomplicate trading. In this webinar, Darko is going to reveal the one powerful pattern that we focus on, which is the swing break. No fluff, no BS. It's just the raw truth about what it really takes to succeed in trading. So if you want to, if you want realistic expectations and a proven path forward, then yeah, this is for you. So I hope you like it, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Alrighty, here you go. Enjoy the webinar.
I really appreciate everybody taking time out of their day and all that to come and attend this webinar. Before we start, I have a very special announcement. Our lead coach, Darko, who you all know, I think most of you know anyway, has now been with us almost 8 years. That's a lot, 8 years. That's just hard to believe. Actually, November 1st is going to be his actual 8-year anniversary. And this service, I can tell you this, as Darko always says, I can tell you this for free, would never ever have become what it is without Darko. He was originally a student of mine, and he became just an outstanding trader through sheer determination and never quit attitude. And I now learn lots from him. I love watching his analysis. It's really very interesting. So I just want to say, on behalf of Forex Mentor, how grateful we are to have you as our lead coach, Darko. You have far surpassed all of our expectations, and yeah, we just really deeply appreciate you.
Thanks, Vic.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Forex Mentor, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So, as most of you know, Darko and I have taken a new approach to our trading. Not a new system, not nothing like that. It's the same analysis, the same use of support resistance levels, the same way to analyze context. The only difference is that we are now putting our focus onto just one pattern, and let's get into that. Here's why we're doing that. One of the reasons and the realities of trading is that most traders are overwhelmed by strategies and indicators and noise and this and that, and maybe trying to trade more than one system at a time. I'm sure everybody's been guilty of that at some point. So you end up constantly chasing the old holy grail. And this lack of focus translates directly into a lack of consistency. If you're like most traders, you're probably way overdoing it with this stuff. And in fact, when you listen to these podcasts I was talking about, you'll hear these guys talking about this. And these are people who have turned the corner. So pay attention to that. If you're honest, it probably feels overwhelming. And we want to help everybody get off of that path. So here's the thing. Let me just go to the next slide here. You don't need 20 strategies and patterns. You don't even need 5. In fact, in our trading community, we now focus on, like I was just saying, the one single pattern, and it's the only one that you'll ever really need. And this is what we're going to go over today, how it works. Darko's going to cover this in detail. And why keeping things simple like this is the fastest path to becoming a consistent and a profitable trader. Because, if you're diverted in too many directions, it's just going to take a lot longer. So the pattern, of course, is the swing break. It goes by their names. You might have heard swing break rotation, head and shoulders. It's often divergence, but it's all the same in terms of what we call structure damage. And when that swing gets broken in the opposite direction, it's our clue that the market is likely reversing. And again, Darko's going to cover this in detail. This is a simple, repeatable pattern, and it works like it doesn't matter what your time frame is or your trading style, from micro scalping up to position trading. So it's just totally adaptable to however you want to trade. And the nice thing about the way that we trade it is that we have clear entries and stops. And the profit targets, well, the profit targets are always something that can vary from one trader to the next, depending on trade management. But we have certain protocols that we follow in order to reduce risk as soon as possible and or take profit. When you strip everything away and you just focus on one clear, repeatable setup, everything changes. You learn faster, you gain confidence faster, and you start building consistency. And one of the biggest benefits is that everyone else in our community is doing the exact same thing. So you have lots of eyes looking for the exact same setup. Just as a bit of a sidebar here, Darko just did an interview with one of our members named Henry Sand. He's one of our short-term members, and he just talked about how he microscopes successfully, and he's been using the same approach for years with a few tweaks to make it his own. So again, I want you to encourage you to listen to those podcasts, because it's the patterns work, and it just depends how you want to apply it. So with that said, we're gonna get Darko on here right away now, and he's gonna go over this pattern, and he's gonna give you a good understanding of what it looks like and how it works in the real world. So let me just get this flipped over to Darko here. Darko, okay, Darko, here we go.
Perfect. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah. Did you want to expand that to full, like, or are you just gonna go on?
No, we can do this. Perfect. Perfect.
You got it.
So,
okay, I'll mute my mic.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Vic. So first and foremost, big warm welcome to this webinar. We are very happy to have you here. Before I start, I want to, show my gratitude toward Forex Mentor, Coach's Corner, Vic and Vic Young, for giving me this opportunity of, doing this. Like they said, this is my 8th year with Forex Mentor and Coach's Corner, and hopefully we have many more decades ahead of us. So I'm truly thankful for this opportunity. Without Vic believing in me 8 years ago, I wouldn't be here today, and no one will hear about my name and my work that I've been doing for the past 2 decades. So before I start my session, if you haven't listened to my podcast, make sure you do so. This is, this podcast has helped thousands of people all around the world, but most importantly, for the past 3 weeks, from episode 70 and onward, I'm actually interviewing some of my clients. So each Monday for the next coming month or so, I would say 2 months, and so each Monday there will be a new episode where I will be talking to some of my clients and asking them some questions, and 95% of the podcast is about them and their journey, how everything started to where they are today. And, we talk about anything that comes up top of mind. And these episodes, based on the stats that I've been seeing in the background, they are super popular, and you will benefit very much from these episodes, because you have been hearing me now for 6 years, recording these episodes, telling you about my journey and everything in between. But now you have a unique opportunity to actually hear about others' journey. And you will see that, we all go through the same journey. So that's, I highly encourage you to listen to the podcast. And also, we started our TikTok account. This is new. Or at least we started this in mid-January, and we agreed that this will be my, when I will be posting, both trading related, but also non-trading related content as well. And I'm actually will be travel vlogging my trip to Colombia, which will take place in mid-October. So you will be having a unique opportunity to follow me through the entire trip, from where I, heading to airport to actually doing all the activities in Colombia. So I had a blast last time, and I'm looking so much forward to go there. So make sure that you search for FX Coach's Corner, and you will be able to find my TikTok. So now we are going through this pattern. So I will be showing you everything you need to know about the pattern without holding anything back. So the pattern is simple. It's very easy to spot, and this has been my favorite pattern since day one I started my trading journey. So this is something that I've been watching, and there is also, I will go through like how do you identify the pattern first and foremost, but also you will be able to understand why this pattern is actually working. So do you guys see my cursor when I'm moving this around? So that's a bit important.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah,
we can.
yeah, perfect. So price usually and almost always moves in waves. We are making lower highs and lower lows. And there is like a deeper thinking behind this when temporarily sellers are in control, heading toward a level of support in this example, okay? So something that I did when I was a struggling trader was like marking the swing high and the swing low. And every time we breach a swing low, well, price will, especially if we are making a lower low, lower close below the previous swing low, 8 times out of 10, go back, don't take my word for it, go and do some back testing. You will see that, 8 times out of 10, price is actually making another lower high and a lower low. That means the sellers are in control. So that's the entire thing with actually understanding the language of the market, reading price, and without any indicators, we are trading, naked charts, where like there is no need for anything beside price. I have one line for support and one line for resistance on my charts, and that's it. Okay, so let's just pretend that this is a level that I have identified as a level of support. Okay, what I do want to see in here, and there are some variations to the pattern, is that I like price to touch and breach that level. It could be slightly, could be like by wicks, that level, or closing below it, like touch and breach, regardless how we do it, okay? And then I want price to take out the previous swing high, okay? And it doesn't matter if we close above it or if we just mark that level by, making a higher high, but not a higher close. It doesn't matter. We either breach it by close above it, or we just breach it by wicks it, by the wicks. So either way, so this tells you now, until in here, where I have my cursor right now, until in here, the sellers were in control. So if the sellers are in control, you don't want to be buying that, as that financial instrument. Could be stocks, commodities, cryptocurrencies, Forex. Okay, it works on anything tradable. So once you have a structured damage, as we call it, or a swing break, now the buyers are in control at a level that was pre-marked. It made sense to me. I marked that as a significant level or a significant neckline. When the buyers are in control, then I will be looking for a buying opportunity, because then I know that I have the institutions, the market makers, hedge fund managers, market movers. They are behind my back. I'm taking a trade, having them on this trade. So that's where how these levels getting taken out. So that's super important. Obviously, it's the opposite for shorting. Now when we are making higher lows and higher high, higher low and higher high, we touch and breach, and then we wait for a swing break. That means now the sellers are in control. Until this happens, the buyers are in control. So therefore, it's very few time when you actually have a false signal, because sometimes price just moves on. It never looks back. We never get this to short that. So that means there is no, fake setups. We just wait and see if the sellers are in control at my level, and that makes sense on a bigger picture, the 3 steps trading, which I go through in a minute. Then we have ourselves a trade. Simple as that. This is not a rocket science. Don't add 3 million other things into this, because the beauty of this setup is the simplicity. because people think that, I need a fancy setup. This looks too easy. This looks only on paper. When you do drawings, that looks super nice, but on real trading, it doesn't work. Yes, it does. And that's the thing with this. It's easy to understand. Now you understand why this pattern is working. Once you understand something, you will be trading with conviction. Then there is no doubt that the sellers are in control at resistance, or the buyers are in control at support. Then you understand that, you see that, because it's very seldom you get a fake signal. That happens. This still will be generating and losing trades. There will be time when the market is drying out. There won't be like trades every single minute or day, depending on your trading style. So you have to be having realistic expectation. Now I'm telling you, that the foundation of price action reading, and then whatever comes, with the mental part of trading, but also, things are drying out, or you might not see this. There is no, signal to trade for a certain amount of time. That happens regardless of which pattern you are trading. Okay, so let's see if I can move to the next slide. Perfect. And this is pure price action reading. We have continuation, we have correction. So the black, the black line is continuation, correction, and there will be a time when correction becomes continuation. This is super important, and I know most people think, Darko, this is too easy. I get this. Well, let me tell you this. If you get this, then you are a stage 4 trader. Then you see the results by the end of each month where you are on the plus side. If you are a struggling trader, then it's easy to understand, and I would say it is easy to apply in the market as well. You just need to do one thing. Back in the days when we traded like 3 patterns and you have lots of content to go through, you still need to go through the content, but instead of, taking you 3 to 6 months to understand my content, you will actually do that within, a month or two this wouldn't take you 2 months to understand. So this is easy, the easy part of it. The hard part of the trading is the mental part, and also apply it in a live market. And that's what I'm teaching, showing. I'm analyzing the live market twice a week, providing 2 pre-market analysis videos on Mondays and Thursdays for the long-term service. The short-term service, I only post the Thursdays PMA. So I highly encourage you to, go through the content if you want to join our service, but also watch the pre-market analysis videos, and get you guys and girls up to speed fairly quickly, like way more quicker now than it was when we traded 3 patterns. And whenever I see a pattern that is not covered in the PMA, I give you a heads up in the chat room, and we have lots of clients who actually can give a heads up, but I'm scanning through the market several times a day. So whenever I see something new, actually I will be showing you a couple of trades that we took that wasn't in the PMA. I posted that in the chat room, and they both had a great results. Again, I'm known for my honesty. There will be losing trades, okay? So that's super, super important to understand. So let's see when I get my cursor back here. Perfect. So in this case, the buyers were in control, and price doesn't look this clean. There might be a complex pullback. I will show you what that is in a minute. So price doesn't move this smooth. It's more like a choppy market conditions, more like wavy, and price could be like heading down in a waving shape or form. So in this specific case, the blue one is where the structure damage happens, and if that happens at a key level of support, in this case resistance, then you have yourself a pending order. That's super important. Same goes when price hits a level of support, and now correction becomes continuation. Why? Because this high is actually higher than the previous swing high. Okay, now you look for a buying opportunity, and then you need to combine the right time frame combinations. So we are looking at the bigger picture, for the yearly chart, and this is obviously for swing and position trading. We use the monthly and weekly to identify these swings. Okay, and not the swings for the entry, but the support and resistance, but also identifying trend. It's super important to have a clean picture of the bigger picture. Okay, and then we go to our entry time frame, where we want to see this, where we have a structure damage. That's on our entry time frame. So we do our higher time frame analysis, and if this makes sense within the bigger picture, we take those trades. Okay, so why does structure damage work? It's super important to understand. These levels, these swing high and low, are monitored by institutional banks, by institutionals, banks, hedge fund managers, and market makers. Okay, when you are at a level of support, a significant neckline, you need to wait for buyers to be in control. Logic, like that, this is easy to understand. It makes sense. When I'm at support, I need to wait for buyers to be in control for me to buy. How do I see that? By a structure damage. Price will show you and lead the way. So you don't need to guess, or predict. There is no predicting. There is no like guessing. The simplicity of my approach is actually you wait for price to prove you right. Okay? If you don't see buyers be in control at support, you stay aside. If you see buyers be in control by giving you a structure damage, the way I just showed you, then you have yourself a trade. So the opposite, obviously, for resistance, you need to wait until the sellers are in control before taking a short position. I'm still amazed, like 20 years later, how it's simple to understand. It's also simple to apply on the market. And whoever has sent me emails for the past 8 years as a lead coach and asked me, hey Darko, if I need to choose between your 3 patterns, which pattern would you recommend? Well, hold me accountable. I have been receiving like thousands of emails. Every single one of them, I said I would be preferring swing break rotation. That's what we call it back then. Now we just say swing break. It doesn't matter if it's a rotation or if it's a swing break. It's the same, okay? So that always been, since day one, my favorite patterns. And everything you need to know is within price. Price is telling you a story when you read it. And once you start this journey with me, well, the charts doesn't tell you anything because you don't know how to interpret price. Once you hear me explain price like no one else in the market, you just need to understand the language of the market. Once you understand it, then the price that you are looking at is actually telling you a story, and that's your job as a trader to interpret what price is trying to tell you. Okay, unless you understand what price is trying to tell you, you will be forever struggling. Okay, so that's what happens. So 3 steps trading is all you need to become a consistent, profitable trader. It's 3 steps. That's it. Okay, the first step is you mark a strong level of support and resistance. What I mean by a strong level, we have criteria, so they are objective. Okay, and there are like endless of content, me showing you how to distinguish, because if you look at your charts, there are support and resistance everywhere, like for every, especially nowadays when the market is like choppy, behaving in a very erratic way. You don't see, there are necklines everywhere. So how do you distinguish the good ones, from the bad ones? Well, I teach you exactly how to do that. So once you be able to mark a level of support and resistance like a professional trader and ignore the iffy, those who are like, they are not great. So there's like no reason for you to not only wait for the, the strong levels. Once you have that, okay, obviously you identify, reading price and everything. You wait for that level. When price hits that level, you wait for what? You wait for a swing break or a structured damage. If that's support or resistance, it doesn't matter. If it's support, you wait for buyers to be in control. If it's a resistance, you wait for sellers to be in control. That's step number 2. The last step, well, if step number 1 and 2 make sense on the bigger picture, context, then you have yourself a trade, okay? And identifying swing breaks, that's not the hard part. That's easy. I promise you, it's easy. I would never, like I said, I've been telling you how things are without adding into like any fancy words or anything. When I say something, I keep my promise. That's not the hardest part, because you can learn how to mark support and resistance in a very short period of time. Same goes for swing break, okay? What is a bit harder is to put that into context, because if you trade every single swing break out there, you will wipe your account in no time. Actually, you won't be wiping your account in no time, but there will be more fake signals, okay? What is forgiving about this pattern compared to set and forgets or ACATs, this pattern, even if you are wrong, there will be more chances to take, to take out the risk and have a free look than set and forget and ACATs. And I'm not saying this because we are trading swing break. This pattern, I'm saying this from day one, because when the sellers are in control, it takes at least another couple of swings until, correction becomes continuation in order to stop you out. By the time you get those couple of swings, 2 to 3 swings, then you have been taking your risk out and you're having a free look. That trade might be ending up in a break-even trade. Worst case, a reduced loss. Obviously, worst case, a full loss. But once you exercise your bigger picture reading, combining with the support and resistance and waiting for swing break, you will see a result that you haven't seen in a very long time, okay? It's super, super important. So I will be showing you 2 trades. We actually, so far this month, we took our first reduced loss today, okay? And that trade went to break even, obviously. But I typed in the chat room, I gave them the number, exit there. I, told them everything they needed to know. Let's see here where my chart is. Just give me one sec. Here is the charts. I need to move this to another place. Just give me one sec to organize my charts here. So we actually took our first reduced loss today, because I just want to, I don't want to just show you winning trades. So now we are going to the live market. Now we are at war, and we are trying to make this work, right? Because this is the reality. Charts looks a bit ugly this year, and this will, this too shall pass at some point. So let me actually go to my backtesting template, so I don't ruin any live trades or the lines. So the USD yen, would you say that this in here is a significant neckline? Yes, this is a level of resistance. So price is actually heading up into this level. What was the 3 steps trading? Mark a level of support and resistance. In this case, resistance. I trust this level like no tomorrow. Okay? So price hits that level. Well, this is and this is, by the way, the monthly chart. This is a very, very bullish candle action. But the next coming candle action is actually bearish. Good. And this is my monthly chart. Okay? So what we did is that price we're retracing back into, and this is the monthly chart where it is actually looking bearish. Price comes up into this neckline, okay? This neckline is a daily level, and all these are explained in great details. I point out all the trades in advance, never after the fact, okay? So what did I say we need to wait for. This was a level that I was, let me see if I can grab my pen for you. Just give me one sec. Drawing pen. Let's see here. Can I see the color black? Give me one sec. Pen. So this is a level, a month, was coming off a monthly level, but then this was a daily neckline that made sense to me in a bigger picture. So price is heading up, right? Making a higher high, higher low. We need to touch and breach. We touched and breached, but right now the buyers are in control. I'm not interested in any shorting. Makes another higher high. This high is higher than this high. We see that, okay? This is a swing, okay? So because this is higher than this one, well, we need to take out this. Once we do so, then we know that the sellers are in control. That's what I want to see. When we left this area, we managed to breach this swing. That's all I waited for. Once I saw that, draw a fib from the highest point to the lowest point. The 618 fib was the entry with a higher high stop loss aiming to the downside. Okay, this trade alone made 2-to-1. Okay, and yeah, sure, we know price went up again, and that's out of our control. We cannot do anything about it. Okay, so that was one of the trades. The trade management part, we cover that in great detail within the service. So I'm not taking any, I'm just trying to explain to you how we identify a trade to show you live examples. Okay, this was another trade. Obviously this is a monthly level. It looks even better on a weekly chart. Lots of necklines, like only on a weekly chart. I'm not showing you like a 5-minute chart or anything. This is a weekly time frame. One neckline, a touch, another neckline, almost a touch, definitely 3 necklines at the exact same level. Okay, so far so good, right? Same again. We mark a level there. We just showed you. Actually, let's just move this back to the monthly level. Okay, and make this bigger because I want you to see this in great detail. And now let me just grab my pen for you again. Okay, what was the criteria? Touch and breach. Well, we touched this level, we breached this level. Okay, this swing is super important. Once this swing is taking out, the sellers are in control. Okay, we took the trade from here to here. Somewhere in here we got filled, and the rest is history. Okay, and yes, I will be showing a losing trade from today. And this was, like I said, next Wednesday is October, and the trade we took today, the trade that we managed today was the first reduced loss so far this month. Okay, so what did I say? Price is making higher lows and higher highs. We hit the level of resistance. We need price to touch and breach, and then we want structure damage. That's our pending order signal. Okay, and price could be like waving itself down. That's okay. At some point, price will be breaching this level. That's all we want to see. If we do it in one swing, or we are, retracing in waves, and then correction becomes continuation, I don't care how we breach this level, as long as it gets breached. Once it's breached, that's it. Draw a fib. The 618 fib is the entry with a higher high stop loss aiming to the downside. The opposite is for longing. Okay, structure damage, draw a fib from here to here. The 618 fib usually not always coincides perfectly with the left neckline. It doesn't need to. Okay, if you don't see any left neckline but you have a structure damage, just take it. That's all we do. Okay, day in and day out, and we scan through our 29 pairs. Whenever we see a structure damage, and that makes sense at a key level of support and resistance, also combining that with the context, then we have ourselves a trade. Let's see here, Euro, let me just watch my note. Euro CAD was the trade that ended up in a reduced loss today. Okay, so why did we take this trade? Would you say that this level This is a fresh, untested level. Would you say this is a significant neckline? Yes, the trend is up. This was a counter trend trade, and we have rules for when to go against the trend. I wouldn't be taking this just because we have a 4-hour swing break. We need the lowest confirmation needed. We need to have a weekly candle action behind our back. That is the lowest confirmation needed for going against the trend, because it's not a rocket science to see that. This is actually heading up. Okay, but this level is a level that I trust. Like, this is a school example of a clean resistance. Okay, we hit that level. Is this bullish or bearish? Well, this is bearish. Okay, so now I'm waiting for sellers to be in control. Okay, I barely need to grab my pen, but I will do it anyway. No, I'm already sounding like a broken record. I'm just been talking like for like 15-20 minutes. Well, breach, touch or breach. Well, yes, we touched and breached. Perfect. This is a swing. Okay, in this case, price did that in one single swing down. Sellers were in control. So somewhere in here, actually exactly here, was the entry with the higher high stop loss. We have rules for where to put our stop loss. It's 25 pips for swing trading and position trading. Okay, and we front run our order by 5 pips. Okay, so this level is super important. Price shows some bearishness. We say, okay, now we go. Now we are heading down, you know, the profit and everything. I will have another winning trade for you to show you. In this case, no. Price touches this level. We are holding this level, and we are actually heading up, making damage in here. That's not what I want to see. So I typed in the chat room. There is evidence in the chat room. I cannot make this up now in hindsight. I said when price hits this level, actually there was a member saying that before I typed it. He said price has now established above that level. If price comes down into this level of support again, I will exit. And I gave it a thumbs up. I said I will be doing the exact same thing. We have this member is right, correct. We establish above that level. This number in here is my exit. And I think the vast majority did that, and there was people who actually exited at break even. I took a minor loss, a reduced loss on this trade, because this was my entry and this was my exit. So this was my loss from having this as my original risk. But then prices retracing back into this level, I exited for a very reduced loss. So that's basically, let me just erase everything here. So that was the first reduced loss for the month. And yes, we had a losing month in July. So I'm not, telling you anything you haven't heard before. So it doesn't matter which pattern you are trading, you will have losing month and losing trades. I think that was it, Vic, or did I miss any part of it?
Yeah, no, I think that explained everything pretty well. And like Darko says, yeah, there's losses in here. This is an odds game, and you know, the fact is, over the course of the year, it's been great. It's been good. Everything's fine. That's just trading, you know. But it's going to become, Darko says this all the time to everybody, this is going to become boring and repetitive, and you're going to know what he says before he says it, because, you know, once you hear this often enough.
I can, take a couple of minutes by the end of the webinar just to, talk about some motivational stuff around the service and the mindset, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's leave that till the end, and that'd be great.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, and thanks everyone for listening. And over to Vic again. Thanks.
Okay, were you going to bring somebody on here, Darko?
Yes, actually, we have. Like I said, we recorded 3 episodes so far with some of my clients, and one of them was actually Yusuf, and I'm sure that many of you have already listen to his episode, because that episode alone is having over 520 downloads so far. So he was generous enough to actually I told everyone in my selfie video about the webinar that we have a surprise for you, and Yusuf will be speaking to us, and he have episode 72 within my podcast. We had a blast recording that episode.
71,
So,
I
and
think.
yeah, 71. Yeah, sorry. My bad. 71. Episode 71 is with Yusuf, and he lives in Australia, and he sent me a text message for some hours ago, and I think he woke up like 3 a.m. or something. So thank you so much, Yusuf, for taking this opportunity and speak to our listeners. So I'm not sure how to do this like technically. I'm sure, Vic, that you will be helping me unmute his mic so he could speak with us.
I just did. Yusuf, can you hear me?
Hey, I'm
Yes.
here. Can you hear me?
Perfect. We can just hear you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for having me on, and good morning from this side of the world.
Yeah, thank you so much. Jeez, sorry to get you up so early.
Yeah, no, you're right. Anything for the community and for you too. So it's a joy.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Yusuf, we really appreciate it. He offered to make a few comments about everything, so I'll just leave you with it, Yusuf. If you could just take a few minutes, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. Hey everyone, my name is Yusuf. I've been a part of this community for about 3.5 years. I found Vic and Darko through a podcast recommendation, and after hearing, I felt I just had the inclination to want to be a part of the community. Before joining, I was mostly self-learning, just YouTube videos, and there's a site called Baby Pips where they give out free content. That helped me start, but honestly it was confusing and overwhelming. Every YouTuber or wherever you learn have different indicators, but what resonated to me most with Darko and Vic was the simplicity. It's price action, naked charts, minimal indicators, and that resonated with me. What changed after joining was when you join and you become a part of the service, you gain a technical recipe, as Darko likes to call it, and that's your edge in the game. Instead of chasing different strategies, you gain a clear system you learn with and you practice with. And Darko even says this, he can hand his system over to 100 people and only 1 or 2 of them will be able to become successful with it. And that comes down to character and discipline. I also realized trading reflects who you are. As I become calmer and more disciplined off the charts, I became better on the charts. And I really love the fact that we're simply focusing on one pattern now, as before there were multiple different patterns to pick from. And after committing yourself to the service, you will have a clearer direction and much less overwhelmed compared to previously. You'll be greater disciplined and have confidence with an edge. You'll trade with a clearer mindset. I've learned personally how to handle losses better, and my trade management has improved as a trader. And most importantly, I started to enjoy trading because it feels structured, repetitive, and less stressful. For me, trading is no longer just about charts. It's about growing as a person. The better I get off the charts, the better I am on the charts. And simply, everyone's journey is different. Whether this is your first time looking at candlestick formations or you've been a part of different communities, but if you're struggling with too much information, this service really does cut through the noise. I've been a part of this service for 3.5 years, and I'm going to be a part of it for a lot longer. And that was just a simple summary of my journey. I hope it's simply what you've just seen from Darko. I thought I really was watching a pre-market analysis video, the way Darko was just highlighting how to read price, and it's a great community. You can ask Darko and Vic questions, they get back to you, and you're amongst a community where everyone's here for the same goal. We all speak the same language, and thank you very much for letting me speak. I feel honored. Thank you, Vic and Darko.
Well, thank you, Yusuf. That's very awesome. We really appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny you talk about your journey and all that. When you hear the other podcasts coming along, you're going to hear such similar stories. How things change for people and that. So, yeah, very good. Thanks so much. And if you went straight to bed right now, I wouldn't blame you.
No, not a problem at all. Thank you so much, Vic.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do now is I will take the screen back and we'll continue on. Okay. All right, so I'll just continue on, and thanks so much for hanging in, you guys. I know it took a while, but we really want to give you as clear a picture as we possibly can, so you know what you're getting into, and most importantly, expectations. People have kind of warped ideas about trading a lot of times, what they think it's all about. When I'm afraid that there's a lot of misinformation and garbage and pure scammy stuff. There's not everything is, for sure. I mean, there's some good stuff out there too, but I just cringe at some of the stuff that's out there. So we're just giving you as honest a look at it as we possibly can. As far as, as I told you before, Darko's a price action reading expert. He sees things that most people don't see, and it makes a world of difference. And at first, when you first look at stuff, it might not be clear to you why he's doing what he's doing. But if you'll trust the process, the results will come. You will start to see what he is seeing before he tells you, like I was just saying. And it's important to go through a lot. I think where people fall down a lot, and one of our people that was interviewed recently said, is that people simply don't go through the content. They get lazy with it, and obviously you have to do that. So, but as you know by now, what Darko does is he shares his pending orders in his pre-market analysis videos, we call them PMA videos, for his long-term trading services in advance, before they trigger. I mean, what a great way to learn when you can watch him explain in detail why he's taking a trade. It just greatly fast-tracks your learning curve. And then, of course, he shows where the entry is and where his stop loss is going to be placed, and he gives guidance on profit targets and other general information about how to handle the trade once he's in. Just like on the Euro CAD he just showed you. He said, I'm going to get out of this trade, and here's why. Having a mentor I've used mentors in all sorts of other things in my life, and I think it's just so important. Excuse me, I had to cough there. Just a bit of background, just tell you something here. I started the Coach's Corner back in 2006, and up until 2017, I was the lead coach. Darko, who was once a student, really caught my attention because of his incredible determination. I just had a never quit attitude. Most importantly, the way that he completely turned his trading around. Guess how he did that? He focused on just one pattern. He did it for an entire year, and he did it on just one currency pair. But that shift in his focus completely changed his trading around to the positive. And in November 2017, I brought him on as our lead coach. And in our community, I mean, Darko fills that role perfectly. He doesn't just talk about trades after the fact. He actually shows them in advance for all the world to see. So, but the good news is that our students don't have to go through this, this learning curve of all of the losses and the trials and tribulations, or of just trading one pair for 1 year using one pattern. The idea of using a mentor is super important to understand. I'm going to go through just a few reasons why you should consider. I won't take long with this. I just think it's important that you get the right context with this stuff, before joining a community of like-minded traders. Excuse me just 1 second here. A mentor helps you skip all the years of trial and error, and I just mentioned, just by pointing out what actually works and what doesn't, because they've been through it. They've had the losses. They've had that experience. So instead of making every single mistake yourself, you can learn from theirs. This is a really big one. The emotional guidance. You could look at charts and numbers and all that. Great, we can all do that. But trading is more than that. It's emotions. And again, I'm going to refer to another podcast I just listened to. It was really good. that's going to be coming out soon, but that was a fellow who was a therapist and talked about emotions, and it's so important. Fear, greed, hesitation, overconfidence, all that kind of thing. FOMO, that's another one. Once you learn the methodology, which does not take long, that's not the hard part. Like, you can learn the pattern in a day, no problem, but that won't make you a profitable trader. Why? Because trading is almost 100% psychological, and a mentor can help you overcome the mental loss. Okay, a mentor can help you spot your blind spots and keep you grounded when sometimes what happens is we let our emotions cloud our decisions. The other thing that's really good about it is accountability, because if you're on your own, it's pretty easy to cheat a little bit, drift off when you're not learning, when you're learning solo. A mentor keeps you disciplined, consistent, honest about following your process. Like, if you took a trade and it lost, you got to be able to explain it. You can't just say, oh, the stupid mentor, or I shouldn't say stupid, but anyway, no, you made a decision. Why did you make that decision? So some accountability is really good. As far as clarity and focus, I mean, geez, you can get information online and it can just overwhelm you. It can lead to system hopping or analysis paralysis. So you want some help, just cutting through all that noise, and just stay with a simple, effective approach like what Darko just showed you with the swing break. Confidence is a huge thing. Having someone more experienced showing you around here just gives you more confidence in executing trades. Someone who's gone through all the back testing, done all of this stuff, and confidence greatly speeds up learning, because you stop second guessing every single move along the way. Books and courses are great, but the mentor shows you how that theory plays out in live markets. You can't just learn on theory. You got to get your oar in the water. And by the way, if you want a book, there's only one book that I really recommend. I'm sure there's others, but the best book, bar none, is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I would say it's mandatory reading. If you want to trade, read that book. It's everything you need to know. That's super good, because the difference between knowing and actually doing is the big thing that'll separate you from everybody else. Okay. We have short-term and long-term trades. I'll just touch on this. The short-term service, I have lots of archived videos showing these setups. The long-term service is mostly swing trades. They're all shown in advance. Short-term, we can't do that just because of the nature of it. With it's more dynamic. Things move much more quickly. You'd be constantly doing updates. It's just not practical. Plus the fact that I'm in the Pacific time zone, which isn't great, and I'm so you'd have to be up. London. The London session starts at midnight our time, so it doesn't work. But it doesn't matter, because the patterns are identical. It doesn't matter what the trading style is. Okay. It was nice to have Yusuf on. I want to show you, though, he actually sent a comment in a while back. I'll just read it out quickly here, because I think it really highlights something that's important about when you are learning from somebody or a mentor, or you're in a community of traders. He says here, I think I've just broken through a mental barrier in my trading journey. For years, I always thought the right path was to learn, then eventually leave the service, trade fully on my own, and become profitable outside of it. But I realize now that mindset was holding me back. It's not about leaving or proving yourself separate. It's about profits and community. Staying in the group, staying connected, and learning alongside Darko and Vic doesn't make you less of a trader. It makes you stronger. You don't have to, quote unquote, graduate out of the service. You can be here 5, 10, 15 years if you want. The fee is nothing compared to the value of having a consistent community around you. You can profit while being here. You can profit without it, but the community removes the weight off your shoulders. And he says the shift is realizing success isn't defined by whether you eventually leave. It's defined by continuing to trade, grow, and stay supported. And this, removing the weight off your shoulders is one of the nice things about the community, is that you can, talk to other traders in the room here. So the bottom line on mentorship is that, you know, it can make the difference between struggling for years or on your own or accelerating your progress with the right guidance. So if you feel that having that kind of support would help you, you know, we'd obviously love to welcome you into our trading committee. Listen, no pressure. This is like everything's a choice, you know. It's just an open invitation if you're ready for the next step. So let me see here. So this is what you know, I'll just, this will just take a second here. You want to simplify your trading, master that swing break that Darko just showed. And it's not just the swing break, it's everything else around it. It's going to take a bit of time, but certainly a lot faster when you're just having one pattern to deal with here. You can learn from real-time examples. You can join our community of like-minded traders, and then you can take a focused approach using just consistent trade setups. Here is the price. How about that? So this is, hey, Vic, could you post this, Vic Young, could you post this pricing to everybody so they can have it there, and then that'd be great. And it's $597 for a year. And $790, that's for either the swing trading that Darko does or the day trading that I do. I'm going to make a recommendation here, you guys. And listen, I'm mostly short-term trade, but it's a little more difficult where I am because I do miss trades because I'm sleeping. If I could make a recommendation, if you're considering joining, would be the swing trading. The reason is because you get 2 PMAs a week, all the content. You get all the content with either. But it's way easier to learn this stuff on a longer term basis. Short-term trading is more difficult. It requires being at the computer more and all that. There's nothing wrong with it. It can be very, very lucrative. But what you learn in the swing trading can be applied directly to short-term trading if you want to go that route eventually. If you want both services, you can do that too for $797. We've made this yearly to work out to be the best deal for everybody because we really, really feel passionate that, you know, I mean, this doesn't, I don't want this to sound like a salesy thing, but a month isn't going to teach you what you need to know. It just isn't. And we're just being honest about that. I mean, you certainly can and get a flavor for it. I'll come to that in just a minute. But this works out to like under $50 a month. So I just compare everything on a monthly basis. You'll notice that we have a 6-month rate here too. That works out to about just over $66 a month. And then the monthly rate is $77. So we've made it more attractive to if you want to join yearly, okay? And the CC Pro monthly rate is like $97. And and this yearly rate, by the way, that works out to just over $66 a month. So just some comparisons for you on that. This is the link right here. You know what I'm going to do? Vic, yeah, thank you, Vic. He just posted that here for us. That's great. I might just go like this too. I might just do this so that, there we go. People who are watching the recording can see this. So there's the monthly, and then there's the 6-month right here, okay? What else I want to say? Oh, by the way, if you join the monthly and you want to upgrade to a yearly before the month is up, just let us know. Vic Young, he runs our back office and he does all the work that is entailed back there. info@forexmentor.com, and he will credit the first month payment towards a yearly subscription. They're very good about that. We're not here to rip anybody off or do anything like that. So for any non-trading related questions, I want you to please keep this in mind. I get a lot of emails, and so does Darko, that are actually back office questions. If it's non-trading related, contact Vic Young at info@forexmentor.com, because what we do is we have to forward it to him, and it just takes that much more time. And if you want to just contact me directly, it's vicnoble@forexmentor.com, and Darko is darko@forexmentor.com. There's a question here. Thank you, Anise. It is, what is a chat room? is it on GoToWebinar platform or different? No, we use Telegram. So when you join, you'll get links for all of that stuff. You can join our Telegram room, and then just come on in. And it's, when I say chat room, it's for our members mostly. Although, like Darko says, if he sees something setting up, or if I see something that's happening live, we'll post it. Whether it's, you know, hey, move your stop, or you get out of this trade, or here's a new trade setup. Because he might see something like on that US yen trade, he saw that trade setting up before the PMA, the next PMA was out. So he just wanted to let everybody know about it, which was a good thing because a bunch of people took it and it was a really good trade. Does that answer your question, Anis? Thank you for that. Anybody else have a question? Any questions at all? Okay. John says, do you encourage using prop firms? Prop firms, sorry. I don't discourage it. I don't know a lot about them, to be really honest with you. So I would say do your due diligence on it. I've heard good and bad. Actually, somebody in one of the interviews that Darko just did was talking about them. I forget who it was now. And they were not big on them. But I've heard the other side too. So I don't want to make a judgment on them on my own without some independent research. But I just don't know. And you know what, John? There might be others in the chat room who would be able to help you with that. Maybe they've had experience with it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't answer it a little more thoroughly than that. Great, Denise. Good. Yeah. Anybody else? Question? Des questions? No. Adam says, do you guys offer basic education of trading, since I personally am new to trading? Just watched a Darko 6 years ago podcast. Oh, great, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, we don't actually have basic education. When I say basic, I tell you what, if you know what a candlestick chart is, and you can go to babypips.com and get some good basic information. But really, you need to know what a candlestick chart is and open up a dealing platform and get used to using it. You could even start with a demo if you wanted, and you should be good to go. Okay, because after that, you know, everything that we have will teach you all of the price action reading, etc. Yeah. Yeah, Ranjit just said babypips.com. Fantastic for basics. Okay, but thanks. Good question. Okay, he says basic, okay, I mean everything. I mean, I know the candles, I do trading, but currently just been following signals randomly. Yeah, and that's how a lot of people start, Adam. So absolutely, if you're already doing that, then you're fine. Yep. And in fact, in some ways, I'd say it's even better because you don't have any old bad habits yet. But yeah, although if you're following random signals, you got to stop doing that, because you can't make it that way, I don't think. If we are already on the 12-month subscription, can we renew earlier for the anniversary price so it starts when the last term is over? Yeah, Nick, just contact the back office on that, and they'll get you squared away with that. Okay. Anything else? Darko, did you want to, now listen, you guys, I was going to bring Darko back on. He was just going to talk a bit. And, you know, I'd encourage you to hang around if you can, and let him just offer up a few words of motivation and good advice. So, Darko, do you want the screen, Darko, or you just want to talk, or what?
No, I just want to talk. So
Okay.
actually, I haven't prepared any speech or anything, but I just want to, you know, 2026 is just 3 months away. And it's hard to believe like it's Christmas like 3 months away. And we have a new year, 2026. And 2020, when the pandemic broke out, that was 5 years ago. It feels like yesterday. And for 8 years ago, I grabbed the mic for the absolute first time ever. I remember I was nervous as hell. I barely had a mic, and I was like said that this will be impossible to do, and I grabbed the mic in 1st of November 2017. That was, like I said, 8 years ago, and it feels like yesterday. What I'm trying to say is that now it's another year passing by. You still have that dream of yours to, do this, and you might have been struggling for years, maybe over a decade, or maybe worst case, several decades. Most people are just waiting for the right timing, like when everything just sets up perfectly, then you start working toward your goals and dreams. Well, that timing will never come. So the best timing was like 10 years ago, right? I wish I did this, or I wish I did that. And you just live with regrets. So the pain of regrets is way harder to deal with than, pain of, trying something and maybe fail, and maybe you fail again. But eventually you will get there, just like me. I struggled for 10 years. I didn't give up. You don't need to struggle for 10 years. And I know that I spoke to the back office and I said, this is my 8 years anniversary. I want everyone to afford my service. We are giving this back to the trading community. And the pricing that we are giving you is the lowest pricing we ever done, ever. Okay? I don't want the price to be an issue for you to actually pursue your goals and dreams. $50, like what can you do with $50 today? You can barely go to the grocery stores, buy anything. Okay? You get an entire month, so many PMAs, so many questions answered, lots of content for $50. So the money part won't be an issue anymore. I want to help you so you can eventually help someone else. I have the greatest community by, surrounding myself by great people. I realized that I obviously knew that, but I just realized that like more when I spoke to my clients through the podcast. I don't know my clients like every single thing about them. I just see a name and their questions, but by speaking to them, I'm was so surprised, and I was so impressed how many smart people I have in my service. And they will eventually give back to the trading community as well. So whatever I do for them, they will do it for someone else. So what I'm trying to say in here is, do not let another year pass by, and then eventually we speak 1 year from now, and then another year has gone and you are still waiting for that opportunity to start. Now you have the opportunity. There is no more excuses. If you want to make that change that you are waiting for, then there is no more waiting. So do it now and you will thank yourself later. So, and you never know where your trading takes you. You might be struggling today. 5 years from now, you might be working for the biggest hedge fund out there. And this is so true, like for 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or when I started this back in 2006, I didn't see this. I had a vision or where I want to be, but I didn't know. What I did know is that even if I'm taking small steps every day, I don't care if it takes me 2 decades like it did. Now 2 decades later, we are running the most popular podcast in the entire world. We have like almost now we are up to 550,000 downloads. That's over 500,000 people are downloading our podcast. Okay. And we are running a very popular service. And we are, things are growing. And what I'm trying to say is that for 20 years ago, I was broke as you know what. I was working my ass off. Okay. And I promised myself that I will never give up. I don't care if I'm taking baby steps. Baby steps in the right direction is way more important than taking huge steps on all different ways. Okay, so take this opportunity and make that change that you are waiting for. Like I said, 2026 is just 3 months away. So don't let another year pass by and live with regrets, because that's painful. So if you have any questions, I will be staying for as long as needed. And if there is no questions, I want to take this opportunity and thank you so much for coming here and celebrating with me my 8 years anniversary. And hopefully I will be able to be doing this for many, many years to come. Okay, so thank you so much for attending this webinar. And for those who are actually listening to the recording, thank you so much for signing up. And we will be putting this also on our social media for those who are, outside of our send list. I want to also thank you for supporting my, me as a trader and a coach with my podcast and my social media platforms. I'm forever grateful for this opportunity, and I will do everything that I have within my power to help you and support you. And you always know that you can send me an email. I don't care if you are a paying member or if you are not a paying member. I will help you anyway, and I will answer your email and do whatever need to help you. Okay? I promised that to myself 20 years ago. And who knows where we will be 20 years from now. So thank you so much, and thank you, Vic Young, Forex Mentor and Coach's Corner, for giving me this opportunity. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darko. 20 years from now, yeah, that could be kind of shaky for me. You're going to, anyway, no, I really.
You never know, Vic. You never know.
The problem is Darko's not letting me retire nicely. I'm trying to, my wife's going, what is he doing? And why does he keep, anyway. Royston, thank you so much. He says, thank you, Darko and Vic, for the excellent service. Royston just did a podcast, by the way. Make sure you listen to that. That was 2 days ago. That was released Monday, just last Monday. So make sure you hear that. It was a really good one. Royston's just awesome. And Tim, appreciate your time. We'll be on board. Awesome, Tim. Really looking forward to having you and everybody else with us. Any questions, just type them in. I'll give it a 30 seconds or a minute if somebody has anything that they want to ask. And if not, we will wrap it up. And thank you so much, Darko. It was very, very well done. Oh, I got to say hi to Ken. Nice to see Ken in there. He's a fellow British Columbian that I've met him several times. Great guy. Jody, thank you, Darko and Vic. Oh, you are most welcome, Jody. Jody came up to Vancouver, and I met up with her. She's just a sweetheart. Yeah, and he says, Yusuf, good to listen to the voice of the customer. No kidding. I think that's really, really important too. Yeah. Joan, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anise. It was, Jody. It was great to have you up here. So if you ever get this way again, if anybody gets up into Vancouver, make sure you let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. You're most welcome, Ranjit. Ryan, oh boy, Ryan's another guy. He did a podcast with Darko too. Make sure you listen to that one. That was earlier in December. He says, looking forward to what comes in the future. Adam, looking forward to recording with Darko on Sunday. Adam's going to be doing a interview with Darko. And Johan, thank you so much. And Darko told me how to pronounce your name. I was saying Johan. He says, no, Ewan. So there. That's my Swedish. You're welcome, Joseph. Thanks so much. Okay, I think we'll just wrap it at that. Thank you again, everybody. And Vic Young, thank you so much for recording this for us. And we will be in touch, everybody. And if anything else comes up, you just let us know. Thanks, Ewan. Cheers.